My girlfriend said, "Maybe we should take a break so I can miss you." I replied, "Make it permanent." She laughed like I was supposed to chase her. I packed her things before dinner. By midnight, her friends were calling me cruel. By morning, she was begging for the break to end. Original post: I'm Caleb, 32, and this happened with Brooke, 28, my girlfriend of almost 3 years. We lived together for 9 months in my townhouse in Charlotte. The mortgage was mine. Her name was not on the house, not on the utilities, and not on anything except the streaming account she insisted on controlling. For the first year, Brooke was sweet in the way people are sweet when they are still trying to win. She remembered my coffee order. She sent good morning texts. She made me feel like I had finally found someone calm. Then the tests started. Small ones at first. She would go cold for a few hours and wait for me to ask what was wrong. If I asked, I was needy. If I didn't ask, I didn't care. She would say things like, "A real boyfriend would know what I need without being told," or "Maybe I should stop making you comfortable. Comfort makes men lazy. I should have left earlier. I know that now." The breaking point happened on a Thursday evening. I had just gotten home from work. I'm a logistics manager for a medical supply company, and that week had been brutal. 2 delayed trucks, 1 angry hospital account, a warehouse audit that made everyone want to quit. I walked in with takeout from the Thai place she liked. Brooke was sitting on the couch with her shoes on, scrolling through her phone like she had been waiting to look disappointed. I said, "Hey, I got your basil chicken." She didn't look up. Then she said, "We need to talk." I put the bag on the kitchen island. She sighed and said she felt trapped. She said our relationship had become too predictable. She said I was a good man, but maybe too available. Then she said the line that killed whatever patience I had left. "Maybe we should take a break so I can miss you." I stared at her, not angry, not sad, just tired. I said, "Make it permanent." She blinked, then she laughed, not because it was funny, because she thought I was performing. She said, "Caleb, stop. I'm serious." I said, "So am I." That was when her face changed. She started explaining that a break did not mean a breakup. It meant space. It meant perspective. It meant she needed to feel chosen again. I asked if she wanted to date other people during this break. She looked offended and said I was making it sound cheap. So I asked a simpler question. "Are you staying here tonight?" She said, "I don't know. Maybe I'll stay with Kelsey. Maybe that will show you how empty this house feels without me." I nodded. Then I walked upstairs and pulled her suitcases from the closet. She followed me 3 steps behind. "What are you doing?" "Packing your things." She laughed again, but this time it was nervous. I folded her clothes, not throwing them, not ripping anything. Just folding. Jeans in 1 suitcase. Work blouses in another. Makeup bag from the bathroom. Hair tools. Shoes from the front closet. The framed print she bought at a flea market and said made my hallway less boring. She kept saying, "You're being dramatic." I said, "You asked for a break. I am making it clean." By 8:40 p.m., 4 suitcases, 2 laundry baskets, and 1 cardboard box were lined by the front door. I texted Kelsey from Brooke's phone because Brooke was standing there refusing to touch it. "Your friend wants space. Can she stay with you tonight?" Kelsey replied in under a minute. "What did you do?" I didn't answer. Brooke snatched the phone and started typing. I went back into the kitchen, reheated my food, and ate alone at the counter. 10 minutes later, she came down with red eyes and said, "Fine. If you want to throw away 3 years, I won't beg." I said, "Good." She hated that answer. She left at 9:18 p.m. I know because the doorbell camera caught her dragging 2 suitcases across the porch while calling me heartless. At 1:03 p.m. the first call came. At 1:05 the second. At 1:11 Kelsey texted me, "You need to fix this." She didn't mean breakup. I replied she asked for a break. I made a decision. "Please don't contact me about this again." Then I blocked Kelsey. Brooke called 14 times before midnight. I didn't answer. I took out the trash, washed the dishes, changed the streaming password, and slept better than I had in months. Update 1: 4 days later. 4 days later, the story had already changed. According to Brooke, I had thrown her out with no warning. I had blindsided her. I had packed her things in a rage. I had made her homeless over 1 conversation. That was the version she told our friends. Unfortunately for her, I had the doorbell footage. I had the texts. I had the 4-month trail of messages where she kept talking about taking space, needing freedom, feeling suffocated, and wanting me to prove I cared. On Monday morning, I woke up to a message from Travis, a mutual friend from a bowling league we used to play in. "Man, Brooke is saying you kicked her out at night and kept her stuff." I sent one screenshot, her exact words. "Maybe we should take a break so I can miss you." Then I sent a picture of the suitcases by the door and the timestamp from the camera. Travis replied, "Oh, that is not what she said." I said, "I know." That afternoon, Brooke showed up while I was at work. My phone buzzed with the doorbell alert. There she was on my porch wearing my old navy hoodie, the one she used to steal when she wanted to look cute and forgiven. She rang the bell 6 times, then she used her old key. Except I had changed the lock Saturday morning. It cost me $185, including the emergency weekend fee. Worth every dollar. She stood there trying the key again and again like the door had personally betrayed her. Then she looked straight into the camera and said, "Caleb, I know you're watching. Open the door and stop acting like this." I saved the clip. That evening, I got a message from her younger sister, Paige. "You changed the locks. That's illegal." "She lives there." I replied. "She moved out after asking for a break. Her belongings are packed and available for pickup. She is not on the mortgage or utilities. Please do not contact me again." Paige replied, "You're going to regret treating her like this." I blocked Paige too. The next day, Brooke sent an email with the subject line, "Mature Adults Talk." The email was 7 paragraphs. She said I had abandonment issues. She said I turned a simple emotional need into punishment. She said she only wanted me to fight for the relationship. She said, and this part made me laugh, "You failed the test, but I am willing to forgive you if you apologize sincerely." I did not reply. Instead, I created a folder on my laptop called Brooke Documentation. Screenshots, doorbell clips, call logs, emails, all of it. Because Brooke only respected consequences after she ran into them face first. By Thursday, her things were still in my garage. I rented a small storage unit near South Park for $96 a month, first month half off. I paid for 2 months, moved everything there with my brother Devin's truck, and sent Brooke one final email. "Your belongings are in storage. Unit 214. Gate code 7194. Paid through July 31. After that, it is your responsibility." She replied 9 minutes later, "You are sick." I did not respond. That weekend, I painted the hallway, took down her flea market print, put up a framed map of North Carolina that my dad gave me years ago. The house felt less decorated, but it felt mine. Update 2, 3 weeks later, Brooke escalated. It started at my office. Our receptionist called my desk and said, "There's a woman here asking for you. She says it's personal." I already knew. I walked to the lobby with my manager, Jonah, beside me. I had told him enough of the situation by then. Not every detail, just that my ex had been contacting me after I asked her to stop. Brooke was standing near the glass doors holding a coffee cup from the place we used to visit on Saturdays. Her hair was done, makeup perfect, soft sweater. The whole "I'm fragile but beautiful" look. She smiled when she saw me, like this was a movie and I was supposed to forget the last month. She said, "Can we talk outside?" I said no. Her smile cracked. Jonah said, "Brooke, this is a workplace. Caleb has asked for no contact. Please leave." She looked humiliated, then angry, then tearful. All in about 5 seconds. She said, "Wow, you're bringing your boss into our relationship now." I said, "There is no relationship." People in the lobby looked up. She left, but not before placing the coffee on the reception desk and saying, "Tell him it's still his favorite." I threw it away myself. That night, I got a Venmo request for $1240. The note said, "Emotional damages, shared household costs, and storage trauma." Storage trauma. I declined it and wrote, "No balance owed." Then her friend Kelsey came back from a new number. "You're making her spiral. She says she can't eat. Just talk to her once." I replied, "If you believe she is unsafe, call emergency services or her family. I am not her support system anymore." Blocked. The next tactic was jealousy. Brooke posted pictures from a rooftop bar in Uptown with a guy named Mason. I only knew because Travis sent me a screenshot and wrote, "She is trying really hard." In one photo, Mason had his arm around her waist. The caption said, "Sometimes losing what hurt you is how you find what heals you." I didn't react, didn't view the story, didn't ask questions. 2 days later, Mason messaged me on Instagram. "Hey bro, I don't know you, but Brooke says you're refusing to give her closure and holding her belongings hostage. Not cool." I sent him 3 screenshots, the storage email, the paid receipt, her break text. He replied, "Damn, sorry man, I'm out." Apparently he was out very quickly because the next day Brooke posted a black screen with white text saying, "Men always abandon women with big hearts." That same week, I started seeing someone casually. Her name was Natalie. She worked in accounting at a vendor company we used. We met at a charity 5K, not through work directly, and the first thing I noticed was that conversation with her did not feel like a trap. She asked how my day was, and when I answered honestly, she didn't call it trauma dumping. She texted first sometimes. She also answered texts without turning basic communication into a power struggle. I wasn't trying to found out replace through Brooke. Instagram. I was just remembering that dating did not have to feel like defending a thesis. Not me, just the event. I was visible in the background. That was enough. At 1:17 a.m., Brooke sent me a voice memo from an unknown number. I still have it saved. "So you moved on already?" After 3 years, that tells me everything. I was right about you. "You never loved me. You just wanted someone easier." I didn't answer. At 1:34 a.m., another voice memo. "She sounds boring, by the way." At 1:52 a.m. "You'll miss me when she doesn't know how you like your coffee." That one almost made me laugh. The next morning, I called a local attorney for a consultation. The cease and desist letter cost $425. It stated clearly that Brooke was not to contact me, come to my home, come to my workplace, contact my friends or family on my behalf, or use third parties to harass me. She received it on a Friday. On Saturday, her mother called. I almost didn't answer, but I respected her mother. Linda had always been kind to me. She said, "Caleb, I'm only calling once. Brooke told us you abandoned her after she asked for emotional space." I said, "Linda, she asked for a break so she could miss me. I told her to make it permanent. I packed her things and paid for storage. I have not stopped her from getting anything." Silence. Then she said, "Can you send me the text?" I did. 10 minutes later, she replied, "I'm sorry, I did not know that part." I said, "I figured." She said, "I'll talk to her." And for a few days, everything went quiet. Final update. 2 months later, the quiet lasted 9 days. Then Brooke showed up at the storage facility while I happened to be there closing the unit. I had gone to remove the lock because the prepaid period was ending, and I wanted proof that everything was still available. She must have gotten the reminder email. She pulled in fast and parked crooked across 2 spaces. She got out wearing sunglasses even though it was cloudy. She said, "You really did it. You really put my life in a box." I said, "Your belongings are in a storage unit I paid for." She said, "You always have to sound so calm. That's what makes you cruel." I didn't respond. I took pictures of the open unit, suitcases, boxes, laundry baskets. Everything visible, nothing damaged. She stepped closer and said, "Do you even miss me?" I said no. That was the most honest answer I had given her in months. Her face twisted. She grabbed one of the cardboard boxes and shoved it off the stack. It hit the concrete and spilled candles, books, and framed photos across the floor. The storage office manager came outside immediately. Brooke started crying and said I was provoking her. The manager pointed at the camera above the office door and said, "Ma'am, everything is recorded." I called the police non-emergency line from the parking lot. When the officer arrived, I showed the cease and desist letter, the emails, the voice memos, the workplace incident, and the footage from the doorbell camera. Brooke tried to interrupt 5 times. The officer finally told her to stop talking. She was given a trespass warning from the storage facility and told not to contact me. I filed for a protective order the following Monday. At the hearing, Brooke came dressed like she was interviewing for a church secretary job. Cream cardigan, tiny necklace, no heavy makeup. She looked harmless if you didn't know her. The judge did not seem impressed by harmless. My attorney laid out the timeline: break request. My response: packed belongings, storage paid, repeated calls, workplace visit, third-party messages, voice memos, cease and desist, storage facility incident. Brooke said she only wanted closure. The judge asked her why closure required showing up at his workplace. She said she was emotional. The judge asked why closure required contacting him from unknown numbers after a legal letter told her to stop. She said she was confused. The judge asked why closure required knocking over property at a storage facility. She started crying. The protective order was granted for 1 year. No contact. No third-party contact. Stay away from my home, workplace, and vehicle. She also had to arrange any remaining storage pickup through her mother. Linda picked up the rest of the things 3 days later. She texted me only once. "Everything is collected. I'm sorry for how this ended." I replied, "Thank you for handling it." That was it. Since then, life has been quiet in the best way. I got promoted to regional logistics lead in September. It came with a $9,000 raise and more responsibility, but honestly less stress than dating Brooke. Devin helped me build shelves in the garage. I started running again. Natalie and I are still seeing each other slowly. No rush. No tests. The first time Natalie said, "I need a quiet night to myself," I felt my chest tighten out of habit. Then she added, "I'm not mad, I just need rest. Text you tomorrow," and she did. That should not have felt revolutionary, but after Brooke, basic kindness felt like luxury. Looking back, the break was never about missing me. It was about control. Brooke wanted to create panic and then reward me when I chased her properly. She wanted me anxious, apologetic, and grateful for the chance to keep auditioning for a role I already had. The moment I stopped auditioning, she called it cruelty. But it wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. When someone threatens distance to make you prove your love, let them have the distance. When someone turns a relationship into a test, remember that you are allowed to fail on purpose. Peace is not always loud. Sometimes it sounds like a locked door, a clean kitchen, and your phone finally staying silent. If this story hit close to home, comment below and tell me if Caleb handled it right or went too far. If you have faced something similar, share your experience or your opinion. And if you want more stories like this, please like, subscribe, and share this video.